Hey guys, I'm so excited today. I have Mr. Atul Kasbekar with me. He is a renowned fashion photographer, a film producer, and also the face of Hublot and Nikon in India. And I'm so thrilled to have him with me today in person. And we're going to talk a little bit on his personal journey and his entrepreneurial career. So, looking forward. Hi, Atul. Welcome to my episode. And I'm really excited to have you today with me. And it's more special because you're a Campionite. We both studied in the same school. So I'm going to now talk a little bit about your early life in brief. So over to you.
I went to Campion, then I decided to pursue the sciences, went to Jain College, got the grades to UDCT, which was chemical engineering, decided halfway that I would be a horrible chemical engineer and that there were no beautiful women.
Okay.
All the women had a way higher IQ than I did, so made sense to do something different. But on a serious note, I quite enjoyed photography and then pursued that as a career. Went to the Brooks Institute in Santa Barbara, California.
Oh, nice.
That was a 3-year program. 1 year I worked in LA with a bunch of people. And then came back here and started. The year was end of 1990 and we're still shooting.
Oh, wow. So this has always been your passion. I see that photography was something you really wanted. There was any other career which was on your mind, or it was straight on photography that you were interested in?
Well, I was just advised at that time that, listen, why don't you think of something that you love doing, because then you're never really going to work,
Right.
so to speak, which made sense. I enjoyed writing. I used to edit the school magazine,
Oh, wow.
okay, the Campion Review,
Yeah.
and but at that time, writers were really seen as this left of center commies who hung around at Samovar at the Jahangir Art Gallery wearing khadi kurtas. That was a stereotype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I might not be able to buy a car, even if I pursue that kind of lifestyle. So I have to say I was wrong, but I'm just talking about perceptions at that time.
Okay.
So between writing and photography, both of which I enjoyed, I figured may as well be a photographer. You can always write later if you want to.
Yeah.
But if you decide to write, then you may not be able to learn the technical skill of photography later.
Okay.
Right? Makes sense. Having said that, my classmate Rajdeep Sardesai, for example, has done remarkably well starting off as a writer.
Okay.
And he was a reporter at Times of India, went on to some level of editorship over there, and then the TV boom happened.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he, along with a whole bunch of people in that right place, right time kind of space for the media, have done very well, and good for them.
Okay. Wow. What got you into producing movies? A little bit on that, like from photography to now producing movies. You have your own company, and there's so many. Like one of my favorites has been Nirja, which your company has produced. So a little bit on that. What got into you for the movie producing business?
Well, we were representing a bunch of talent and in my management company, and then you had access to a lot of scripts and you were judging them and were on set often enough. And let me first put my hand up and say that we didn't know anything about hardcore production.
Okay.
But then this script landed in our lap, written by Simon Quadris, and it was very engaging. And we said, let's try and make this. So took the punt and got the rights from the family, because we didn't want to do anything unofficially, although it was in public domain. There was no need.
Okay.
You could have gone ahead and done it basis a bunch of books and
Right.
stuff like that that's out there. And I spoke to my old friend Ram Madhwani,
Okay.
whose work as a ad filmmaker I greatly respect. He'd also done more like a festival kind of experimental film called Let's Talk,
Okay.
which starred Bamar Renani at that time. And not many people have seen it, but it's a fabulous piece of work, honestly.
Okay.
So I asked Ram, I said, listen, should we do this together? And it was over a coffee, and he said yes. It's one of those cosmic things that kind of, I think the universe conspired to clear the way for that film to happen. I don't know how that happened,
Okay.
because we made it in a in a ludicrously low budget, in
Okay.
spite of having to literally build a 747 from scratch.
Okay.
You know, so for the set,
Okay.
the only thing the plane couldn't do was fly.
Okay.
So
Okay. Not everyone knows this, but Atul is a big time sneakerhead, which I just got to know as well. So I want to know, like, from what was the age you started, which was your first shoe, and what was the age you started collecting?
So I think growing up in school, you know, Adidas was like the it brand,
Right.
you know, and if someone's going abroad, which was not that often, then you had to kind of beg and plead for them
Yeah.
to get you anything with 3 stripes, right? Then like Nike came along and started becoming cool. But here's the thing: when I was in the US, um, I played basketball at a decent level in school, inter school, and then like junior state trials, that kind of thing. So when the first Jordan came out, I've actually had 2 pairs.
Oh.
Not out of anything else, because everybody was a Jordan fan.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though I lived near LA and I was like a Laker boy, but like nonetheless, you have to respect greatness when you see it, and he was great even at that point in time. And I'm just thinking, if I had just hung on to those 85s,
Okay.
you know, because in whatever condition, especially if you have the box,
Yeah.
they're worth some absurd amount of money now.
Yeah.
But again, for me, it's not just a shoe. Okay, I respect the art and the artistry and the engineering that's gone
Behind it.
into
Yeah.
making each pair.
Right.
Okay. So, oh, this is nice. So I'll collect. And you see, for me, I'm just an inveterate collector.
Got it.
So, for example, let's say over the years, you know, my wife and I, in our art collection, have, I think, about 200 pieces of works.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
so some of them have been acquired when we literally had no money in our pockets. For some reason, art galleries and and artists liked us a lot, and they said, "Okay, take it, go home,
Yeah.
you know, enjoy the piece, send us the money when you can."
Got it.
And we weren't like no, you know, anything at all. So I genuinely appreciate, you know, this kind of trust that people placed.
True.
Because they saw that we were really into it.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just I'm buying this because one day it'll be a lot of money,
Right.
kind of thing at all. Yeah, so, you know, with sneakers, it was just one of those things. And then I liked what Travis was doing. So I said, let me try and get each one.
Right.
That, you know, for example.
Right.
Okay. So then all of a sudden they've become a little out of control to try and get to acquire.
Right. Okay. You know, I don't know if everyone knows this, but Atul's also a fitness freak, and he's always been into sports. So, you know, what you think, you know, in today's time, how important, according to you, is health and fitness, you know, with so many diseases spreading, especially after Corona, that what we all went through. So, a little bit, you know, how important it is in today's lifestyle, you know, to incorporate this, you know, and what's the kind of diet you follow on a daily basis, and yeah, a little bit on that.
So for me, fitness is a way of life.
Okay.
Okay. I read a piece long back, but I read it much after I was 30. And this might be interesting to somebody who's in their 20s or whatever.
Right.
So your body goes through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the gym, you don't go to the gym, you eat, you drink rubbish, whatever.
Yeah.
But at 30,
Yeah.
you should look that point in your life as some kind of benchmark. So, as the article said, at the age of 30, go and spend disproportionately on a suit you cannot afford. Okay, like, I mean, go to Savile Row, go to Tom Ford Couture, whatever, you know, and just get this absolutely kick-ass tuxedo or whatever, you know. And then the aim should be to try and fit into it for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Okay. If you do this at 22,
Yeah.
chances are it won't happen. It will be very difficult. But from 30, it's completely possible.
Okay.
You know. So, As you get older, you realize that it's nutrition, and that's 70-80% of the game.
Right.
I eat really well.
Okay.
Okay, and when I say really well, is there's probably not a bad meal.
Okay.
Even if it's a simple like dal chawal and a piece of fish and a papad or whatever,
Right.
it's a very good piece of fish made really well, and the dal is exquisite and the rice is hot and it's got a dollop of ghee.
Right.
It's a very simple meal, let's say.
Right.
Or it's a really complicated 12-course thing at Papa's or whatever,
Right. Right.
But I eat very little.
Okay. So it's more like portion control.
It's hugely portion control.
Okay.
On most days of the week, I try and stay under 2,000 calories
Got it.
by and large.
Okay.
Like most of the people, there is access to top class alcohol.
Right.
Okay, I am really into single malts and high end tequila for the longest time.
Right.
And like tequila has become cool now.
Yeah.
I've been collecting for the last 15-18 years.
Right.
Okay, so it's just one of those things where, but you don't need to knock it back every day.
Right.
I mean, as a simple rule of thumb, if you have a drink today,
Yeah.
not even 2 drinks, your body is for the next 24 hours incapable of burning fat.
Okay.
Okay, simple to understand.
Okay.
So if you're drinking 4 days a week, then the 24 hours after the day you've had it doesn't matter how much you worked out.
Right.
It really is not going to make too much of a difference because you certainly won't burn fat,
Right.
which is the general idea.
Yeah.
Right. So limit your drinking to a special occasion or it's Saturday night,
Right.
whatever, and Tuesday is not a special occasion.
Right.
So
Yeah. But so exactly what Atul says is totally correct, because even I follow that. Like if you balance out your meal, your life, how important workouts are in your life. It's like you're brushing your teeth. You need to do some sort of physical exercise and even like control your portions, whatever. There's no restrictions, but you just need to maintain your portion control. And I think everyone can live a nice and a healthy life. So what he's really said is really to the point. So I hope everyone follows that, because there are a lot of things in the book. You do crash dieting, you do this kind of, a lot of other fads, you find it on the net. But I think that living a simple life, following the simple rules, and even in our my like grandfather time or even before that, they used to have all kinds of meal. They used to do their normal walks, workouts, and everyone used to have a nice and healthy life. So what you said is pinpoint on that.
So I'll give you like a case in point, like a couple of tips for anyone who wants to do this. First of all, it's consistency.
Right.
Okay. So one great workout is not going to make your body.
Right.
आज मैं 3 घंटे जिम होके आया.
Yeah.
Big deal. Why don't you go 45 minutes every day?
Yeah.
And that'll help. Okay. Then people who work out, and I know a few, who get neurotic if they have a bad meal.
Right.
Okay. So conversely, one bad meal is not going to ruin your body either.
Right.
Okay. Just like one great workout is not going to,
exactly,
whatever.
Yeah.
So the thing to understand is that it has to be a way of life. Like let's say I have a fairly high metabolism. Maybe I have kept it at a higher level because of all the things I do. But if you're in your 20s, and certainly speaking for myself in my 20s and 30s, if I was badly behaved for 1 month,
right,
I could whip my body back in 1 week.
got it.
In some time, you find that if you're badly behaved for 1 week, you need 1 month to pull it back.
Right.
Things slow down.
Right.
So it's a question of just consistently making it a way of life. So I learned this now, for example, from my sister. I can't believe I'm quoting my sister Preeti.
Okay.
But she'll be very happy. But so what she does with dessert, and she likes dessert, is she goes, why are you eating the entire thing?
Right.
So I'm like, means it's good. I said, yeah, but the idea of eating the dessert is to change the texture on your palate.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So isn't 1 spoon doing that?
Okay.
Okay, 2.
Yeah.
So and stop.
Yeah.
You know, and I've managed to do this really well. So
Okay.
I'm not going to go, oh my God, I can't have that
Yeah.
slice of pizza or whatever.
Right.
I'll have that one slice.
Got it.
And then that felt good, man. That pepperoni
Yeah,
hit
so
the
it's
spot.
basically don't kill your cravings. You know, you crave for something, you kill it, but obviously you need to know when to stop, as you rightly said. You know, that is very important, I think. And even like a lot of people, what I also suggest when I had type 2 diabetes, which I reversed, with consistency and the willpower. I think the willpower and the consistency, you can't blame nutritionists that you go to, that they give you a chart, a diet you follow, and then you blame the nutritionist, which I see a lot of my friends do, that we're not losing weight, we're not, like, they have like 100 excuses. But I said, how much to the T have you followed what she's told you? That is very important. Consistency and willpower, these two things, which you also rightly said, and which I think everyone should really know this, that if you really want to make a change, you need to tell yourself inside that you're ready. If you're ready to make that change, then you have to give that 100% as well. So
no more than 4 people should be required to carry your dead body, okay?
If you have to put it that way.
You'll have to excuse my morbid sense of humor.
Yeah,
No, but a classmate of ours unfortunately passed away, and he had just let himself go. He must have been like
Right.
120, 30 kilos.
Right.
I actually want to use that in a, that scene in a movie somewhere, because
Right.
from all this solemn thing, now we are carrying his coffin, we're going, and
Yeah.
it was literally like some 10 or 12 people, because he must have been 130 kilos when he passed.
Right.
And then plus all that cascade, we're struggling. And then after a while of, yaar, be careful, it went into gali galoch. You know, ki, "Abhe, oh, kya kar raha hai, sale?" Because any second now, and and his grave has been dug somewhere, and we're trying to maneuver. Because if that thing falls, there will be one more death. Of somebody carrying his coffin.
Yeah.
Because the entire thing was now 200 kilos or whatever. It was a bit crazy. But yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just going to do a quick rapid fire with few easy questions for Atul to answer. So, are we ready? Okay, so what is Atul's favorite holiday destination, which you can keep going on like without?
I go to London every year, and I have for the last 30.
Okay.
But that's usually to watch an Arsenal football game.
Okay. What is your favorite restaurant in the world?
Oh, that's an impossible question to answer. But
Okay, let's pick a 3. Let's pick your first 3 favorite ones.
So anything Gagan is doing in Bangkok.
Okay.
Anything Manish Mehrotra is doing.
Okay.
I think the Indian accent has set the benchmark.
Yep.
For
Fab food.
yeah. And stuff. I suppose Nobu.
Nobu. Okay. Your favorite cuisine?
I mean, look, I honestly like all kinds of food.
Yeah.
But if you told me for the rest of your life you have to eat,
One kind.
just this one cuisine and that's it.
Yeah.
Then probably Japanese.
Okay. So I believe that you have a sweet tooth.
Hugely in control, but yes.
In control. So what would be your favorite go-to dessert?
I had something absolutely phenomenal yesterday.
Okay.
Which is at the Bombay canteen. They have their take on the Shahi Tukda.
Okay.
Unbelievable. And they also have a like some kind of pie,
Right.
which is a take on a halwa.
Right.
And I was too busy with the Shahi Tukda with my second spoon of that
Okay.
to notice what it was. But that was also exceptional.
Okay.
And if you have to have a chocolate cake in India, then I think there's this outfit called Escato,
Okay.
owned by a lady called Prajakta Jain, who does quite easily the most elegant cakes and pastries I've had.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
What is the one thing you think that us millennials have and the Gen Zs don't?
So I'm always confused about who's older. It's from 1985 to this, and I know I'm at the beginning of some particular year of whatever.
Okay.
You are what?
I'm a millennial.
And I would be Gen Z, no?
No, you would also be millennial.
Millennial, okay.
In terms of our generation, you think which we have and they don't?
So just drawing a conclusion from the assistants who've come to learn at my studio, and there've been a lot of them,
Right.
and who've had incredible careers in photography. Jatin Kampani,
Right.
Tarun Khiwal, Ajay Salvi, Aisha Brocha,
Right.
Cyrus's wife, and there've been about 20, Joe D'Souza. I find our generation understood that you need to pay your dues for a certain length of time to really start understanding what's going on.
Got
Okay,
it.
so I did a 3-year degree program in photography. I assisted for 1 full year, almost every single day, with photographers in LA. Came back, but it still took me 1-2 years to see the light.
Okay.
You know what I mean, right? Then, of course, it was instinctive.
Okay.
The early guys understood this process and hung on for 3 years before they took off on their own. It was a rotation system.
Right.
The ones who join today want to put up their shingle and say ready for business in 6 months.
Okay.
Fantastic if you think you can,
Right.
but it's unless you're a prodigal genius, it's highly unlikely you will succeed beyond a certain level.
Okay.
I think the other thing that happens with a lot is that because we work so hard, a lot of the generation today
Yeah.
has a safety net and a parachute,
Right.
whatever, so they can take the risks,
Right.
which is fine. Each generation has its different advantages, disadvantages, etc. We had some before,
Yeah.
my parents, etc., and that's life. But you need to take use of that to think a bigger and broader picture, as opposed to I mean, I've had people who've spent 3 years in talent management and wanting to leave, and I said, why do you want to go? Because you're good at this. You paid your dues, and you have a way with people. You have the right personality. And she's like, sir, can I tell you honestly, I want to be a DJ.
Right.
So I said, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Is anyone in your family a DJ? Your best friend's a DJ? Or anything? No. I just like it.
Right.
I said, and? I think I'll be able to do it. I said, you mean you've never tried to do this before? He says, no. So you want to chuck up 3 years of paying your dues in something to now go on a punt on pursuing a career path you know absolutely diddly about.
Yeah.
Now, this is happening because there's a roof over your head and someone's putting food on the table for you.
Yeah.
If you were on your own, you wouldn't take that punt. To be fair, I have not heard, it's been 15 years since the story. I have not heard of this girl spinning tracks anywhere, not even at somebody's Navjot. Okay. So,
Got it.
or a birthday party. Now, so I don't know where that went.
Got it. Okay. I know it might get you into trouble. I'm going to ask you this, but what is your all-time favorite muse?
Oh, that's not a troublesome question.
Okay.
I think every photographer should have been blessed to shoot with the following 3 people or 4. Lisa Hayden is far and away, no contest,
Right.
the greatest single Indian model ever.
Okay.
And nobody can have a second opinion about this. This is, I have spoken, this is the truth. Write that in letters of gold and we can end this discussion. Okay. The other incredible people like from this is Malaika Arora.
Okay.
And the only reason I would place Lisa higher than Malaika is because Lisa is like almost 6 foot.
Okay.
Which just proportionately is just a ridiculously transforming thing for images.
Okay.
And there was a model called Tamara Moss
Okay.
who was fantastic.
Okay.
She just did her own thing, and you literally had to not give instructions other than when she's running out of frame or something.
Right.
And just hold down the shutter, and you could go smoke a cigarette and come back, and she's doing her thing.
Okay. So very natural.
Unique.
Unique. Okay.
It was never, she was posing without ever posing.
Okay.
And last but not the least, possibly the most beautiful face. Would have just sold beauty products worldwide if she had really stuck at it. But she went to New York and then kind of disappeared from the scene. Was a model called Angela Johnson.
Okay.
Just stunningly beautiful.
Okay. So these are some of the names which you say that these
Yeah.
are your favorite muse.
But I mean, if you're talking from a fashion shoot perspective, Lisa.
Lisa, hands down. Okay.
Like there's not a flaw, you know.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about, oh, I need to accentuate her butt or hide it, or you know, her like the legs are not toned enough, or you know, whatever it is, just perfectly proportioned, perfectly bronzed.
Got it.
And just beautiful. I should stop talking about this.
And also, what about the current generation of actors, if you had to shoot, and who's like your favorite amongst in terms of the Bollywood industry?
You know what's nice about the new generation is that they don't take any process of fame, adulation, or where they are on the ladder for granted.
Okay.
There was a period of the actors from my generation who, some of them, to be fair, thought that it was their God-given right to be there.
Right.
And as a result, you got the opportunities.
Got it.
You know, which is fine, no problem. But you also have to work very, very hard to stay at that place. But if you see all the actors of the modern generation, they all work very, very hard. And even movies that haven't done well, you can see the effort, you know, that the actors put in, which then you have to respect. Like, let's say I'll give you an example. In Pippa, a movie that commercially didn't do well, I thought Ishan Khattar was wonderful, you know, and especially that one dance, that one song was just absolutely like world class, right? Then you see these boys in RRR. I mean, what kind of hard work have they put in?
That was phenomenal.
Unreal, right? True. You know, and internationally applauded for that. Then you see the hard work, you know, Farhan has put in his movies in terms of in terms of transforming his body, from Milkha to you know, the boxing film, to anything he's done. Then Ranbir in Animal. You know?
Phenomenal.
So whether the movies have been successful or unsuccessful, it's a given that there is a certain amount of respect you have to give to now the process, and people appreciate the hard work done.
Right. Yeah, true. Because
you can't just show up on set. I mean, if you look back, some of the old movies are like, wait, what? You know, the guy's supposed to be, you know, 30, and clearly he's like 10-15 years off that. And he's got this clear paunch, and he's eating any rubbish through the day, and you know, you can see they're going through the motions in a lot of cases.
Everyone's got become really conscious in terms of their field of work. So I think that even like the kind of dedication by each one of them, even like I just even Karthik Aaryan suddenly, you know, kind of dedication.
I mean, incredible.
Incredible dedication in terms of his craft. So that's really important, you know. Everyone needs to be really dedicated, consistent about anything they do in life. So really well put also, Atul. So one last question. If you have to give a nice message to, if anyone wants to get into the field of photography, get into your trade, what would that be, and you know, how can they pursue it?
Look, I think there's been a sea change from the time I walked in to the business here and to the present. First of all, at that time, we're talking, I started working in the year 1990, like I said. You could name all the known photographers in the country, I mean the country, like there were probably like 10 or 12 of them. Okay. Now there are probably 10 or 12 in my pin code.
Okay.
So the advent of a camera on a smartphone has made the process very democratic. On a given day, anybody can take a picture, and your doctor in his spare time could make a home movie and edit it, and why not, you know, with a really decent phone, right? So this makes hugely different. While there are a lot of people out there, what is the differentiating factor that you have?
Right.
Okay. And I keep saying this at any art school I'm asked to lecture at, or design school or photography or whatever, and I'll ask them, okay, how many of you, let's say, have been out of the city, and and okay, where did you go? And I went to Delhi. Okay, did you visit any museum or gallery? No, sir. I went to London. Fine. Did you go to any museum, gallery, shows, whatever? No. It's remarkable how many people think that they can be in an insular Instagram world, okay, and think that's going to develop a wider repertoire and range and nuance in your work that's going to take you to another level.
Right.
Because everybody has access to this information.
Right.
Okay. Are you actually going forth and learning more and utilizing about it? I am an information sponge.
Right.
To date. Okay, and I think that's a really good thing, because if I go abroad, I'm for a long time have not been interested in going to the clubs and so on and so forth. I will make it a point to go see a couple of shows. I will visit every single museum that there is that I have time to. I was in Berlin for 3 days. We went to 4 museums.
Right.
Even if it's like a cursory, reasonably quick walkthrough, it all goes somewhere in your subconscious. If you're an artist, if you want to be in the visual world, it's extremely important to open your mind to dimensions, to appreciating, instead of just wolfing down your food like an idiot, try and appreciate why this vada pav is better than that vada pav. I'm not even saying you need to eat fancy food, but why is this one better than that one? These are things that fascinate me.
Right.
Okay. And this curiosity, I feel, will be, so if you want to be in the visual world, and I would say visual world, because don't be just a photographer. I would suggest you learn video, because then from a practical point of view, you won't be hungry. Okay, there'll be always some work happening. That would be a first. So don't only do print, because that's dead or dying. So do video and expand your universe, because of the 5 million people who think they can do it along with you. What's your edge?
Okay.
Right. And that's a never-ending, continuous, curious, interested, fun process. And if somebody has to force you to go to museums and art galleries and watch interesting design shows and whatever it is, you chose the wrong business.
Got it. So as Atul rightly put, guys, you need to follow all the advices and the inputs which he's given if you would like to pursue this kind of career. Thank you so much, Atul, for this episode. It was such a fun time chatting with you and knowing so much about you and the passion that you follow. So it's such a privilege and an honor to have you with me today. And thank you once more. Yeah, and it's great. And let's meet soon and we'll connect again. Thank you so much, guys, for
Campaign
this episode.
calls.
Campaign calls. Yes.
See you.
See you.